Good evening, I'm Josh Hilkman, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the Department of Health and Human Services. Nebraska football coach Matt Rhule addressed the media today, and he was asked about the offense making a jump going into the bowl game next season.
I believe we kind of in some ways have done some of that this month. You know, I think we'll go into the bowl. The bowl's a little different now because, you know, your rosters really turn over and change. But really, it's this recruiting class we just brought in, plus the guys coming back, plus the portal additions that we make heading into the summer, and then the growth that we make. You know, we have to take a step on defense to play championship caliber defense. We also have to take 2 steps on offense to get to where we want to get to.
The Huskers are continuing bowl preparation for their matchup with Boston College on Saturday, December 28th in the Pinstripe Bowl. We'll hear more from Coach Rhule in Hour 2 of Sports Nightly. After the press conference, Nebraska officially announced the addition of Phil Simpson to Coach Rhule's staff. Simpson will be the Huskers' outside linebackers coach moving forward. He most recently served as a defensive analyst at Florida State. The regional semifinals began today in the NCAA Volleyball tournament. In the Pittsburgh Regional, Kentucky defeated Missouri in 4 sets, and Pitt outlasted Oregon, winning in 5 sets. In the Louisville Regional, just underway between Florida and Stanford. Stanford up 3-1 in the first set, and coming up at 8:30 tonight, Louisville will play Purdue. And Nebraska Volleyball will play their Sweet 16 match tomorrow against Dayton at the Devaney Center. We'll have pregame starting at 7:30 right here on the Huskers Radio Network. One college basketball game of note tonight, Iowa State and Iowa tip-off coming up at 6:30. And in the NFL, the Rams face the 49ers. LA is 7-6, while San Francisco comes in at 6-7. Kickoff at 7:15 Central Time. Our sports ticker is brought to you by the Department of Health and Human Services. Call a timeout. If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there. Call, text, or chat 988. It's free, confidential, and staffed, with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Hour 1 of Sports Nightly is up next right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Rhule under center. Turns, hands off Dowdell, plunges into the end zone, touchdown, Nebraska! What a drive for the Big Red. An exclamation point on what has been a wonderful first half here in Iowa City. 9-0, Big Red.
Outside set, Hurricanes Cologne roll shot. Nice up by Harper. Now Nebraska center top. Bergen Riley. She does it. Nebraska wins. Call the grandkids. The Huskers go to their 40th Sweet 16 in the last 43 seasons. Remarkable. And they'll shake hands in Lincoln. Bring on the Dayton Flyers. We're going to be right here at the Devaney next weekend for a trip to the Final Four.
Here's a poke away by Hoiberg. Puts it up, got it! Huskers have a 100-burger. 101-72 on the swipe by Sam, and the take for the lay-in.
Oh, Moriarty saved it in bounds. Got it to Coley. To Widener. Angles in. Out to Rimdole for 3 on the right wing. You betcha. Huskers made something out of nothing.
Now, here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
Well, it's just me tonight, although Jess, she just can't cut the cord. So she did talk to Lauren Cook West yesterday before she took off for Oklahoma, a little R&R. So we're going to hear that conversation coming up here in just a couple of minutes. Previewing the Sweet 16 matchup between the Huskers and the Dayton Flyers, which will be tomorrow night at the Devaney Center in the regional round. Regional round got underway today. 2 games in the books today. 2 really good matches this afternoon. Kentucky in 4 over Missouri. And number 1 Pitt got pushed by Oregon to the 5th set, went 15-12 in the 5th. Pitt survives. It's the only team that's been ranked ahead of Nebraska for most of the year. A couple more matches coming up tonight. So we'll get a full breakdown from Lauren. She's one of our faves coming up here in just a little bit. This, you know, is a big weekend, big Friday for sporting events in Nebraska. You got volleyball going on at the Devaney tomorrow night, and Fred Hoiberg's team takes on Indiana tomorrow night, league opener at home for the Big Red. And after losing at Sparty Saturday, you got to protect that home court. So big matchup there. Well, Fred Hoiberg met with the media yesterday. We'll play you some of those clips coming up later on in this hour. Football did practice, and Coach Rhule met with the media today. A lot of topics. We'll cover that in hour 2. And then I've got a little surprise segment. It'll be fun. It'll be fine. It'll be fun. We'll get into that coming up in hour number 2. Coach Rhule did talk a couple of interesting notes from that today. Heinrich Hoiberg is now working strictly with the tight ends. Now, he could flip back and in an emergency play quarterback in the bowl game, but doing all of his reps right now in the tight end room and on the field with the tight ends. That's where he's going to be positioned moving forward. I think that's interesting. So Jalen Gramstead is going to be the backup quarterback to Dylan in the bowl game in a couple weeks to take on Boston College. So that's interesting there. The other thing was about Nate Borkacher. You get the sense that, and I talked about Nate last on the program, that that stung because such a good young guy making progress in this offense. You could see once Dana Holgerson took over as OC, he got more touches, he got more involved in the offense, and I was excited about him. But Matt Rhule kind of today indicated that door might still be open, much like it was for Emma Johnson, who's come back, and Keona Davis, who is coming back. That was huge news that I didn't really touch on last night in our short 30-minute show. But getting Keona, who as a true freshman defensive lineman looked the part. And I think you're going to see him play a lot in that Pinstripe Bowl coming up in just a couple of weeks in New York City. So a couple little nuggets there from Coach Rhule. We'll hear a lot more from him coming up in hour number 2. Josh mentioned this in the break that Nebraska made it official today that Phil Simpson back on the staff. He was here as a defensive quality control coach during Matt Rhule's first season, went to Florida State, kind of in a similar role this past year. Now back, he'll be the outside linebackers coach. And I speculated the other night, does that mean we're going 3-4 with the defense? Because we didn't use the term outside linebacker in Tony White's defense. John Butler now tweaking things makes you kind of think we're going to the 3-4 defense. And Coach Simpson, deep ties in the state of Florida, particularly that Miami region. And Nebraska did so well a year ago in the recruiting front. I think that's big news. It's been reported for a couple of days. We mentioned Coach Simpson the other night. Nebraska made it official today. They've not yet made it official on Phil Snow. I think they're waiting on paperwork. Those guys have to pass compliance tests, those type of things, before they can be signed off and actually absolutely presented as a member of the staff. And Coach Rhule did say today that he is looking for a defensive backs coach. Coach Butler will just be the defensive coordinator. He will not coach a position and be the DC. I think that's smart. I think it's wise. So looking for a defensive backs coach moving forward. I don't think there's an urgency for that. And the closer we get to the bowl game, probably kicks it down the scale a little bit as far as urgency. All right, portal. Let's talk portal a little bit. Williams Waneri, who is out of the Kansas City area, played at Missouri last year, former 5-star edge rusher, is now committed to Nebraska football. He's going to be on campus this weekend for his visit, but he's already committed to the Husker football team. This is a big-time get early in the portal season for Nebraska, considering that, Jamari Butler has gone on the portal. MJ Sherman is going to exhaust his eligibility and be done after this year. So Williams Ranieri is now a Cornhusker. All kinds of potential. The recruiting folks love this kid. Think he's going to be a tremendous player. That is a really good start for Nebraska in the portal moving into this big month of December. Huskers will have some guys on campus this weekend that are here from the portal, checking that out, trying to plug a hole here, plug a hole there, trying to put this roster together for the 2025 season. So lots of things happening. NCAA volleyball, big basketball game tomorrow night at the Bob, or at the PBA. The Bob will be hopping with the volleyball with Indiana. Fred Hoiberg coming up later on in the hour. So fun stuff happening here early in December as we make our turn toward the holidays, and still the crossover season happening for us here. Fine time for me to tell you that Woodhouse is proud to be the broadcast sponsor for the Pinstripe Bowl coming up on the 28th of December. Tune in starting at 7 a.m. on the 28th for Husker Game Day. Kickoff will be at 11. You do not want to miss a moment. Brought to you by Woodhouse. That's going to be here quick. You're going to get up there, you're going to get that Christmas shopping done, and all of a sudden you go, whoa, we got a bowl game. which is odd. This is strange. We haven't had one of these in 8 years. So fun to be able to have that. All right. As I mentioned, Husker Volleyball, Dayton tomorrow night, Sweet 16 round of the tournament. When we come back, Jessica and Lauren Cook West will have a full breakdown of the match and where this team is heading into weekend number 2 of the NCAA tournament. All that straight ahead.
Husker fans, it's game day, and Pizza Hut's got your perfect play. Score the game day special for just $29.99. Get 2 medium 3-topping pizzas, 8 boneless wings, and 5 breadsticks. Enough to feed 8 hungry fans. Pizza, wings, breadsticks, and more. It's the ultimate lineup to fuel your game day. Check out the full menu online at pizzahut.com or in store. Because remember, no one out-pizzas the Hut.
If you've been looking for a reason to fill up your car with unleaded 88, how about this? Unleaded 88
can help you save big at the pump.
And save the planet by cutting greenhouse gas emissions.
Any car 2001 or newer is approved to use unleaded 88. Speaking of good, it's made from corn, which is great for farmers.
As I was saying, if you need a reason to choose unleaded 88, there you have them. Unleaded 88. Engine smart, earth kind. Visit chooseunleaded88.com to learn more.
In the game of life, we all face tough moments. Sometimes it feels like we're up against a formidable block with no way through. Call, text, or chat 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Don't wait for the final set. Reach out, speak up, and let's bump, set, and spike this challenge together. Because in Nebraska, we're more than players. We're a supportive community. Remember, in times of need, call a timeout. Call, text, or chat 988. It's okay to ask for help. We're here for you. Every serve, every pass. Go Big Red. Presented by Nebraska DHHS.
From family road trips in a spacious SUV to heavy-duty hauling in a powerful truck, Woodhouse has the vehicle to fit your lifestyle. Purchasing a vehicle has never been easier thanks to our streamlined buying process. Browse a huge selection of new or pre-owned vehicles from top brands. View transparent pricing so you can find the vehicle that fits in your budget. And complete your purchase online. Shop when you want, where you want. It's the Woodhouse difference. Get started today at woodhouse.com.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Nebraska soybeans power everyday products, from Goodyear tires and Skechers shoes to soy-based turf and fire suppressants. These innovations replace petroleum and utilize other components of the soybean, leading to more sustainable products worldwide.
I'm Doug Sadoff, a farmer near Trumbull, Nebraska. Thanks to cutting-edge research, soybeans are now in everything from tires to turf. It's amazing to see how these advancements are unlocking new potential for our crops.
Soybeans are a win for every product and everyone. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health, and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
No matter what color you wear on game day or what color tractor you drive, there's one color Nebraskans trust to be a partner for life lived well. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska combines national power with Nebraska roots. Awarded the best health insurance experience in the heartland, Blue Cross delivers affordable, high-quality health plans for Medicare groups and individuals. Head to nebraskablue.com to find the coverage that's right for you. Team Blue says, go Big Red.
Welcome to the Make It Jingle with Kris Kringle podcast. Today we're talking to Jan from Toyota, all about Toyotathon.
Hi!
So, tell me about Toyotathon.
Well, from now until January 6th is the perfect time to get a new Camry, RAV4, Highlander, and more.
Oh, how exciting! So what can you do in a new Toyota this holiday season?
With a new RAV4, you can go snowboarding with your friends.
I love dashing through the snow.
Take a Camry to a tree lighting ceremony.
Sounds merry and bright.
Or even load up the family in a Highlander to go ice skating.
What a jolly good time. So, Jan, got any red Tacomas? After my big job, I'm taking the missus down to Florida to go surfing.
Florida? I'm there.
Dealer inventory may vary. Offers are subject to change throughout Toyotathon, which ends on January 6th. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Toyota. Let's go places.
See your independently owned Omaha Metro Toyota dealers, Corin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, or Baxter Toyota of La Vista.
Husker fans, it's game day, and Pizza Hut's got your perfect play. Score the game day special for just $29.99. Get 2 medium 3-topping pizzas, 8 boneless wings, and 5 breadsticks. Enough to feed 8 hungry fans. Pizza, wings, breadsticks, and more. It's the ultimate lineup to fuel your game day. Check out the full menu online at pizzahut.com or in store. Because remember, no one out-pizzas the Hut.
Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Welcome back to Sports Nightly. I'm Jessica Coody, and we have a treat for you tonight. I feel like we need to cue like the ladies' night theme song, as every time it's Lauren Cook West and I doing a segment together. We need to have a special song, Lauren, when we do this.
Of course, it would be Taylor Swift.
True. That's much better. Yes, we've got to come up with a Taylor Swift song that would work for us. But always a treat. Always enjoyed talking with you, and it's even better when we're talking postseason volleyball.
I know. I can't believe we're here. I don't know where the rest of the season went, but we're in the postseason, and we're about to come up on regional play, which is always one of my favorite times of year because there's just so many good matches.
Well, another Sweet 16 for Husker volleyball, and JB had the numbers on this last weekend. It's just incredible, and as much as we come to expect it, you never want to take it for granted that the Huskers continue to be in this stage on this level year in and year out.
You can't take it for granted, with how good volleyball is overall through every conference. Years ago it was you had a couple of teams that you knew were going to make it through the tournament and make it to the Final Four and probably win a national championship. Now, that path is wide open, and some people are saying there's 10 to 12 teams that could end up, really making it to the Final Four and trying to win a national championship that actually have a legit shot. And I mean, Jessica, look at the first 2 rounds. There were upsets. Yeah. There were matches that, should have finished in 3 sets, ended up going 5 sets. Louisville, who's hosting a regional, they almost went down. So I feel like in this day and age with how good volleyball has become, you never know what's going to happen.
What do you make of the parity? Why does it feel like it all of a sudden, I know it's been growing, but it seems like, boom, it's here. Does that just speak to, again, the growth of the sport where it started at the, the lower levels, the kids playing and the growth of the sport, and it's finally coming to fruition? Or why is it all of a sudden that we're seeing so much higher competition across the board this year?
That's a great question. I don't know if there's an exact answer. I think part of it is just how popular the sport's become and, integrating kids into the volleyball world earlier on in life. I think it's, the coaching has improved. You have more coaches who want to coach college volleyball and who put time and effort into being the best coaches they can be. So it's the coaching, it's the players, I think teams moving around and all the conference shifts, which I still have to Google, okay, what conference is this team in? I think that has changed a lot, and really, look at the Big Ten this year. Big Ten was a really good conference before, and then you had all these teams that were added in, and now it's an elite conference and one of the best in the country. And so I think the conference shifting is part of it, being on TV, all of that. It's just girls want to be a part of it, and you're getting some really good athletes, some really good coaches, and you put that together, and it's a recipe for success.
Well, I did want to get your take on this. We were chatting about this, but, with the changing of the schedule and the TV opportunity to be on ABC and all of that, but they've changed up the scheduling of it a little bit. What do you make of that? And just, again, having the day in between, and some teams playing on Thursday, Saturday, some on Friday, Sunday. I know it's good for the sport, but then it's also a little bit, if you're playing on Sunday, you have the one less day of prep if you do make the Final Four. But, overall, it's got to be a positive that they're trying to figure out a way to put as many of these matches on broadcast television. That's got to continue to help grow this thing as we move forward.
It does, and that's a huge positive, and I'm so thankful that television is starting to care and really wants to, produce a quality broadcast and have things spread out. As you know, I have a lot of thoughts on this. I don't think there's a way to make it fair for everyone. I understand that. But take Nebraska, for example, and I'm not saying this because I'm biased towards Nebraska. I'm just stating this because this is a true statement. Nebraska's playing Friday, Sunday. So then let's just talk hypothetically. Let's say they win this weekend, both matches. They would probably have to have Monday off, and then they turn around and travel to Louisville on Tuesday. So they get in a little prep work Tuesday, a little prep work Wednesday, but Wednesdays would be a pretty light serve and pass practice, and then they have to turn around and play Thursday. Well, then you have, a team that, let's say Louisville, for example, let's say I think they're playing Thursday, Saturday. Let's say they win both of their matches. Well, I guess they're not traveling. I'm trying to think. Stanford. We'll say Stanford wins both their matches. Then they play Thursday, Saturday, have Sunday off. Then they would have Monday to prep, Tuesday to prep, travel Tuesday, and then Wednesday. So they get an extra day of preparations. And when you're, this late in the season, that extra day of prep, really makes a difference. And you're not really doing anything to better your players because you've fine-tuned all of that throughout the season. At this point, you're really just preparing your players and giving them scouting reports and watching video and, having that extra day, that's crucial. But at the same time, looking back at, you mentioned this is the first year they're really spreading things out. Years before it was, okay, let's try to fit every match into one day. And you would have teams, I think at one point Nebraska was playing at 10 or 11 in the morning. And, who wants to get up and play a volleyball match that early in the morning? I understand football plays at that time and there's probably other sports, but it's volleyball, they're normally night matches or afternoon matches. And so I remember in some of those matches, it was just like, whoa, how can anyone prepare to play this early? And you would get poor quality play. So I don't know what the right answer is. I don't think there's a solution that keeps everyone happy, but, I'm interested to see how all of this plays out, how they seeded regionals this year and how they spread it out. And it'll just be interesting to see how it all goes.
Well, I know it's two different seasons and it's two different teams, and we're now a year past what happened a year ago, but it is a lot of the same players that got valuable experience going through this thing a year ago and then made it to the national championship match. In your viewpoint from, covering every single match this season and last season, what are the biggest differences in this year's group and last year's group? It's pretty much the same team, but what are the biggest differences in where this team is at this year compared to where they were at a year ago?
It's just their confidence. And you look at them last year, they were younger, they were squirrely, they were having fun, it was a joyride. No one really expected this. And this year, you can tell they're serious, they're on a mission, they're focused. They're still having fun and enjoying it, but you can tell how focused these players are and how badly they want to win and get back and redeem themselves from last season. So that confidence is just there that maybe wasn't there last year, and just that focus, that determination. I think that's the best way to describe it. And here's the other thing I was thinking about, Jessica. You look at a team like Dayton, which Nebraska is going to have to face on Friday. They've never made it this far in the tournament. So these girls have zero experience, zero confidence going into the postseason this far, where Nebraska, this is normal. They have the experience, they have the confidence, and so I think that'll be a huge factor in the matchup Friday, Nebraska versus Dayton.
Well, let's dive into it. What have you learned about Dayton? What have you seen out of Dayton? What kind of matchup are the Huskers going to be facing on Friday night?
I had a feeling you were going to ask me this, and I should have told you on the air or off the air not to ask me this, but here's a little, I'm always honest with you. I have literally watched maybe 5 points of, it was, I think, Dayton versus Baylor.
Yeah.
They knocked off Baylor to move on, and I maybe watched the last 5 points, and all I know is they have a fiery little outside who gets a lot of swings, and that's about all I can tell you right now. If you listen to the pregame on Friday, I promise I'll break it down and give everyone more information and all the keys and all the ins and outs. But they made it, they won, so they're a pretty good team. But all I really know is they have a fiery little outside who gets a lot of swings. That's
a good teaser right there. And at this day and age, or this point And, talked to Kelly Hunter this week on The Dig. Nebraska's done, they do what they do, and that's kind of the key, right, at this point is doing what we do best and not worrying as much about the matchup and facing what's on the other side of the net.
You're really just, trusting your training. And some of the keys for Nebraska will be, can Bergen set consistently with her location and her tempo? Because when she does, she puts her hitters in really good situations on the net. She puts them in one-on-one situations. They just, the connections are better, and they're able, our middles and our right sides especially, Merritt and the middles, Rebecca and Andy, they're able to go off and have really big nights. And we need our middles and our we call it the quick zone and the red zone to have a really big night Friday in order to advance to Sunday. So that's going to be a huge key. Can we continue to, pass really well and keep Bergen in system so she's able to, not stress about scrambling to the ball and then trying to put up a hittable ball. Let's take it as much off her shoulders as we can, continue to keep her in system. Can we continue to serve tough? We've stressed, look at the match against Miami. Our serve really stressed their passers. They were shanking balls. They were getting aced. They were getting frustrated. It broke them down over time. And so serving and passing, those two, if you do it better than the opposing team, you're usually going to win a match. Those are the two most important skills. So serving and passing, Bergen setting, I think those are the big keys. And again, with Bergen setting, it's, getting the quick zone going, the red zone going, that's Merritt in the middles. And I think if Nebraska takes care of those things, which is that's all on Nebraska's side of the net, then they'll be fine throughout the weekend.
How about the other matchup, the Wisconsin-Texas A&M? What are you looking for in that one? Is there a chance Texas A&M could pull the upset there?
I don't know. Again, I'll be honest with you, I haven't watched Texas A&M at all this year, and I wasn't able to watch their matches last weekend. So, they won. They're good enough to be in a regional, but I think it depends on what Wisconsin team comes out. They've been battling injuries. They've been, doing different lineups, and so I think it depends what Wisconsin team comes out on Friday afternoon, evening, and if it's the team with Smrek in there and Lila Schumacher, their libero, she was out for a while. If it's that team, then I think they're going to be hard to beat. And Wisconsin's usually always on a mission in the postseason, and they usually do pretty well in the postseason. So I think Texas A&M has their hands full, but again, I have not watched them play this year.
Boy, I think everybody kind of has it penciled in, but how rockin' would Devaney be if it was Nebraska-Wisconsin to get to the Final Four?
I go back to, I watched some highlight videos from Nebraska-Wisconsin earlier in the season, and there were different highlight videos and students, and everyone just said, Nebraska-Wisconsin, this is the matchup you look forward to all year in the volleyball season. And so the fact that we may get a third matchup in the postseason is wild and exciting, and it's a bummer in a way because they've already played twice, and it's really hard to play a team three times and to beat a team three times. So Nebraska doesn't have that in their favor, but at the same time, you're right. It's that Nebraska-Wisconsin matchup. Fans love it. TV loves it. You get a lot of ratings, a lot of viewers. Hopefully, radio loves it too. A lot of listeners, but it's. I think it will, if we get to that point, and if it is that matchup. Bring your earplugs for Devaney, because I feel like maybe, luckily I have a headset on, but if I didn't, I may go deaf after that match.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, well, news today, for the first time ever, a libero has been named as AVCA Volleyball Regional Player of the Year, and it is Lexi Rodriguez. Is Lexi Rodriguez the best libero to ever wear the Husker uniform?
I think so.
Yeah?
I actually saw that earlier, and I'm so happy and excited for her. And even though I don't think she's passed Justine Wong-Arantes on the all-time digs list, but she is close. And here's what you have to remember with Lexi. It's not just about her defense, which is phenomenal. It's about her passing, and she's one of the best passers. And who, to be an All-American, she'll probably be an All-American again, for 4 years. Only a couple other players, I think only 2 other players have done that at Nebraska. And so it's a huge accomplishment for her, so exciting for her. It's well-deserved. I've seen a lot of hashtags of, justice for liberos, because liberos just don't get the attention that they deserve. And hopefully Lexi is paving the way and changing the way for future liberos. And she deserves it more than anyone. So I'm so happy that a committee saw that and, people decided that she should be rewarded for her play.
And I know it doesn't go into the selection process for that kind of award, but her leadership has just been instrumental in it, helping a team navigate a lot of kind of the situation that this program has been in with the pressure and the eyeballs and just the last couple of seasons. I think her leadership, too, is another quality that just has been, you just can't replace it for what she's been meant for this program in that regard.
Well, you can't, and you're spot on. I don't think the committee looks at leadership when they make those decisions, but I almost think that's more valuable than her passing and her defense, is how she's led this team, how she, has connected everyone. And Jessica, I've said before, you can have a team with the most talent in the world, but if they don't have team chemistry and leadership, they're not going to succeed. And then on the flip side, if you have a team maybe with not all the talent in the world, but you have that chemistry and that leadership, they're going to go really far and they're going to do really well. And those are the teams that win championships. And so I think, yes, Nebraska is a very talented team and they have a lot of talented players, but at the same time, it's their leadership and with, between Lexi and Merritt and how they've led this team and brought this team together and built this chemistry over the last 2 years. I think that's what sets Nebraska apart from other teams.
Great stuff. Lauren, as always, appreciate your time. Thanks for chatting with us here on Sports Nightly, and we will look forward to your full-on breakdown of Dayton coming up with John Baylor starting with the pregame show. Did you guys decide on a time? Again, with the moving times, I wasn't sure what exact time you guys landed on for the pregame show.
I was told 7:30.
7:30, all right.
So we'll go with that. You tune in. I'll have so much information and maybe spill some secrets.
Yes. All right. Always look forward to it.
Always breaking news.
Yes, always. Thank you, Lauren. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jessica.
All right. We got to step aside for a break here on Sports Nightly. Got more to come after this.
In the game of life, we all face tough moments. Sometimes it feels like we're up against a formidable defense with no way through. Call a timeout. If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there. Call, text, or chat 988. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Don't wait for the final whistle. Reach out, speak up, and let's tackle this together. Because in Nebraska, we're more than a team. We're family. Remember, in times of need, call, text, or chat 988. Presented by Nebraska DHHS.
If there's one thing Nebraska's known for, it's our beef. And Nebraska soybeans feed a lot of them, and even more pigs and chickens.
I'm Jason Pinky, a farmer near Craig, Nebraska. Soybeans are vital for feeding our livestock, and they're also a powerhouse protein source for people worldwide. Our world needs protein, and Nebraska soybeans are making a difference.
From tailgate grills to global plates, farmers deliver affordable, nutritious protein to build muscle and energy for everyone. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
This postseason, the Nebraska Cornhuskers are ready to make a run for the championship, and Woodhouse is right there with them. Follow along as the Huskers take on the best in the NCAA volleyball tournament. Hear every thrilling moment, every powerful serve, and every block for the title. Woodhouse, proud sponsor of Nebraska Volleyball, bringing you all the action as the Huskers fight for glory. Stay tuned and cheer on the Huskers each broadcast, presented by Woodhouse.
If you've been looking for a reason to fill up your car with unleaded 88, how about this? Unleaded 88
can help you save big at the pump.
And save the planet by cutting greenhouse gas emissions.
Any car 2001 or newer is approved to use unleaded 88. Speaking of good, it's made from corn, which is great for farmers.
As I was saying, if you need a reason to choose unleaded 88, there you have them. Unleaded 88. Engine smart, earth kind. Visit chooseunleaded88.com to learn more.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Welcome to the Make It Jingle with Kris Kringle podcast. Today we're talking to Jan from Toyota, all about Toyotathon.
Hi!
So, tell me about Toyotathon.
Well, from now until January 6th is the perfect time to get a new Camry, RAV4, Highlander, and more.
Oh, how exciting! So what can you do in a new Toyota this holiday season?
With a new RAV4, you can go snowboarding with your friends.
I love dashing through the snow.
Take a Camry to a tree lighting ceremony.
Sounds merry and bright.
Or even load up the family in a Highlander to go ice skating.
What a jolly good time. So, Jan, got any red Tacomas? After my big job, I'm taking the missus down to Florida to go surfing.
Florida? I'm there.
Dealer inventory may vary. Offers are subject to change throughout Toyotathon, which ends on January 6th. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Toyota. Let's go places.
See your independently owned Omaha Metro Toyota dealers, Corin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, or Baxter Toyota of La Vista.
Looking for the ultimate sports watching experience? Head to Smash Park in La Vista, home of Husker Hangouts, Omaha's official watch parties. Your go-to spot for epic game day deals, delicious bites, and unbeatable fun. Catch every moment on massive screens. Challenge friends to pickleball, axe throwing, and other games. Smash Park is where the action happens, whether you're cheering on the Huskers or just enjoying the atmosphere. Smash Park. Visit us today and turn your game day into a game night. Smash Park. Play, drink, eat.
Sunday morning. You can smell it. Game day. And the brisket you've been smoking since last night. A day to be with family, aka fellow football fans. Traditions make Sundays easy to enjoy. Beers do too. Bud Light. Easy to Sunday, easy to enjoy. Bud Light is the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2024 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Welcome to the Make It Jingle with Kris Kringle podcast. Today we're talking to Jan from Toyota, all about Toyotathon.
Hi.
So, tell me about Toyotathon.
Well, from now until January 6th is the perfect time to get a new Camry, RAV4, Highlander, and more.
Oh, how exciting. So what can you do in a new Toyota this holiday season?
With a new RAV4, you can go snowboarding with your friends.
I love dashing through the snow.
Take a Camry to a tree lighting ceremony.
Sounds merry and bright.
Or even load up the family in a Highlander to go ice skating.
What a jolly good time. So, Jan, got any red Tacomas? After my big job, I'm taking the missus down to Florida to go surfing.
Florida? I'm there.
Dealer inventory may vary. Offers are subject to change throughout Toyotathon, which ends on January 6th. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Toyota. Let's go places.
See your independently owned Omaha Metro Toyota dealers, Corin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, or Baxter Toyota of La Vista.
Our Akrs Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Akrs. They're the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Great conversation with Jessica and Lauren Cook West, who will be on the call tomorrow night, 7:30, along a number of these Husker affiliate stations. It's the second match of the night. Wisconsin A&M go at 6. It'll be 30 minutes after that match ends when Nebraska and Dayton will take the floor, but our coverage will begin at 7:30 tomorrow night. Some of our affiliates will be carrying Husker men's basketball. Big one tomorrow night at PBA, the Indiana Hoosiers, who are the preseason pick, I don't know why, to win the league. And Nebraska coming off of a bad performance against Michigan State last Saturday up in East Lansing. Fred Hoiberg met with the media yesterday and was asked what have they been working on since that MSU game.
You know, the thing about it, that hadn't been us all year, and that was the disappointing thing, is I thought we really had prepared well all season long, and I don't know if it was the Creighton game. It was similar to last year a little bit, where we played on the road. We had a great win against Kansas State, maybe our best road win of the season, and then we bounced back in a very similar game that we played after the Creighton game. So we play last year North Dakota, and we're getting it handed to us at halftime. So the challenge after the Creighton win was to bounce back with great effort, and we did that, I thought, against South Dakota, and then North Florida team that I think you all know how on edge we were going into that one, a team that had knocked off 2 high majors. So then we get a week, and it may have been as simple as exhaling, taking your foot off the gas, and then having a day off, and then coming back in, and the energy just wasn't the same at what it had been for the entire season with this team. So that really last week was hopefully the outlier for this season, for that game. And, they've bounced back and responded the way that we hoped they would have. And, we beat them up pretty good. We had to after what happened to us. We just got completely outworked and outmanned, and the physicality of the game in this league. Michigan State obviously is as good as anybody in the country, but we're going to see that every night. We're going to see it on Friday with Indiana. They're big, they're strong, they're playing really good basketball right now, they're healthy, and it's a team that'll pose a lot of the same problems that Michigan State did. And if we don't respond to a run, to adversity, the same thing is going to happen that happened on Saturday afternoon for the entire season. That's how this league is. It's how it goes. So, I've been pleased with how they've responded, but we'll see how we step up to the challenge on Friday night.
That game with Sparty it went from like 10 to 30 in a blink of the eye. Really, Nebraska with about a minute to go in the first half right there. I think it was 36-31, 5-point game. You're like, okay. But boy, they just did not respond in the second half of that game. And you heard the coach talk about maybe we took the foot off the gas during practice last week, having a full week to get ready for Sparty and that game. So how does he handle the work? How has he handled the workload here this week?
Well, you guys know I get a weekly report or layout from a scientific standpoint of how the load should look. And again, we've got the best sports science program in the country. If people all around the world talk to our sports scientists, they're a hell of a lot smarter than I am. So when they give me the recommendation on what the load should be for the week, similar to last year, I can't remember what game it was. Wisconsin. Thanks, Wilson.
You're welcome.
So remember, I crumpled up the paper and I threw it in the garbage, and I essentially did the same thing this year. We needed to get after it, and we have. And we still have room to grow. We still have a lot of work to do, and a lot of new faces that we're still trying to figure some things out. We didn't handle it well the other day. We have handled adversity pretty well, I think, all season. Even the St. Mary's loss, we battled back. We continued to fight, but we had 80% of the fans in the building. When you don't have that, you got to be more mentally tough. You have to be more physically tough. And this is the other road test we have is Creighton, and I thought we were phenomenal. We controlled pace, we controlled tempo, and we were the tougher team on the floor that day. But we have to learn from wins, losses. We're going to do that every game. We're going to have a cleanup, and we got to respond. And I still believe in this team a lot. There's some things we still obviously need to get a lot better at on both ends of the floor, but hopefully we step up on Friday and give great effort.
All right, so tomorrow night, 7 o'clock tip, 6 o'clock for pregame coverage with Kent and Jake on the call here on the network. Indiana, and again, I said this earlier, preseason pick to win the league. I don't get it. They redid their roster. They went and got the big guy from Arizona, good player in the middle for them. Coach Woodson still is not a big fan of the three-point shot, which I think you're swimming upstream in college basketball if you don't wrap your arms around the three-point shooting ability. But Indiana did beat Minnesota a couple nights ago, so they're 1-0 in the league and looking to pick off a road win in Lincoln tomorrow night. How will the Hoosiers stress the Huskers? Here's the head coach.
One, they're playing the best that they have, the 4 wins that they have in a row now, and I thought they were phenomenal against Minnesota the other night on both ends of the floor. And they finished off that tournament in the Bahamas with a win over Providence, where I thought they were really good. So they're coming off, I think, their best performance of the season, and the physicality, the toughness. There's going to be a lot of the same things that stressed us going into the Michigan State game, starting in transition with their big, because they do as good a job as anybody of throwing the ball over the top to Rhule and to Ballo in transition. They're phenomenal at that. They're shooting the ball well. Carlisle being healthy is huge for them. I thought he was great in their game the other night. He adds a on-ball pressure element to that team, and I know that's how Woody likes to play. So there's a lot of stressors. I think Galloway is playing really good, and he's shooting the ball well right now. We know how tough he is when he gets downhill to his right hand. So, you just have to go out there and limit him and hopefully follow the game plan. It's going to take a 40-minute effort and hopefully give ourselves a chance.
Ballo is the big transfer from Arizona, and he's a great rim protector. Nebraska's going to have to be careful of him because Nebraska likes to take the ball to the basket. But that's a guy that can clean up a lot of shots for Indiana inside. Galloway, remember, he started his career at Northwestern, then transferred 2 years ago to Indiana. Last year did not shoot well. And as coach pointed out, he's way better this year behind the line. So he's the one guy on that team you kind of worry about the 3-point shot coming from Indiana. One of the things about the Michigan State game getting out of hand was Burke was able to kind of be taken out of the game. Coming off of an injury a few weeks ago where he missed a game. Once that game got out of hand, Coach Hoiberg was able to kind of put Burke on the sidelines for the rest of the game, give him some more rest. He should be much more ready to go for the game tomorrow against Indiana, and he may be a key in that game tomorrow night for the Huskers. Nebraska last year at home, unbelievable in league play, undefeated. And they may need to be doing something like that again this year if they want to get back in the NCAA tournament. Here's the coach when asked about how important it is to protect home court.
Yeah, and you talk about how hard it is to win on the road in this league, and obviously we experienced that on Saturday, and we have played, just so you know, we've played all 6 years I've been here, we've started on the road, which that's also not right. It'd be great to start at home and, hopefully get a little momentum, going into the rest of the schedule. So, I didn't realize that until after the game, and I did let the schedulers know about that. So, anyway, that's besides the point, Robin. Yes, it's important. You have to come out. I know there's 2 great events in Lincoln on Friday night, and couldn't be more excited about how the volleyball team is playing, and for John, and how well that team is playing right now as they pursue their 6th national championship. So I know there's 2 great events in town on Friday. I hope we get a great crowd, and I think we will. And I know volleyball is going to be sold out. So it's an exciting time. For us starting home, we get 10 of these opportunities, and again, hopefully go out and give our fans something to cheer about.
Should be fun. 7 o'clock tip, 6 o'clock pregame coverage here on the network. Busy night on the network because we have both that and that Husker volleyball match against the Dayton Flyers, which they'll take the air in pregame at 7:30, and first serve roughly around 8:30. Could be later. I mean, if the Wisconsin A&M match goes 5, it could be 9 o'clock before you have first serve at the Devaney Center. So it could be a late night. So if you're going to go, you better get your nap in tomorrow afternoon for that one. Basketball game will be over by about 9 o'clock tomorrow night. But a big one for Fred Hoiberg's team just to bounce back, get that taste of that disaster of Michigan State out of their mouth, and again, protect home court. This team's got to be good at home. You got to win your games at home and try to steal a couple on the road and get your league record above 500. That was the key last year for Nebraska getting in the NCAA tournament. Last night, Husker women, 13-point win over Tarleton. I know they weren't real thrilled with that. Didn't shoot well. Amy Williams' team only shot 29% for the game, but the good news is you shoot 29% and you still win by double digits. You'll take that. 9-1 right now for the Husker women. They will play Sunday against Chattanooga. That'll be a noon tip at PBA as they continue their last couple of non-league matches moving forward. All right, 402-413-2400. The text line is open if you want to pop in a question or two. I see a couple in there. I'll get to those coming up next.
This postseason, the Nebraska Cornhuskers are ready to make a run for the championship, and Woodhouse is right there with them. Follow along as the Huskers take on the best in the NCAA volleyball tournament. Hear every thrilling moment, every powerful serve, and every block for the title. Woodhouse, proud sponsor of Nebraska Volleyball, bringing you all the action as the Huskers fight for glory. Stay tuned and cheer on the Huskers each broadcast, presented by Woodhouse.
You may have heard about Monolith, how right here in Nebraska, we're producing low-emission carbon black for tires across North America. How we'll soon be providing farmers with locally made fertilizer to reduce our reliance on foreign imports. How we're investing hundreds of millions in multiple Nebraska facilities. You might have heard Monolith is changing the world. We're not. You are. Along with many other Nebraskans in high-paying jobs that support families and communities. Monolith, Nebraska made.
Husker fans, it's game day, and Pizza Hut's got your perfect play. Score the game day special for just $29.99. Get 2 medium 3-topping pizzas, 8 boneless wings, and 5 breadsticks. Enough to feed 8 hungry fans. Pizza, wings, breadsticks, and more. It's the ultimate lineup to fuel your game day. Check out the full menu online at pizzahut.com or in store. Because remember, no one out-pizzas the Hut.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check the propane tank on your grill first, before hosting a tailgate.
Let's fire up. Here, let me try. Seriously? You didn't check the propane? Who wants chips?
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
Salt and vinegar?
You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
If you've been looking for a reason to fill up your car with unleaded 88, how about this? Unleaded 88
Can help you save big at the pump.
And save the planet by cutting greenhouse gas emissions.
Any car 2001 or newer is approved to use unleaded 88. Speaking of good, it's made from corn, which is great for farmers.
As I was saying, if you need a reason to choose unleaded 88, there you have them. Unleaded 88. Engine smart, earth kind. Visit chooseunleaded88.com to learn more.
From family road trips in a spacious SUV to heavy-duty hauling in a powerful truck, Woodhouse has the vehicle to fit your lifestyle. Purchasing a vehicle has never been easier thanks to our streamlined buying process. Browse a huge selection of new or pre-owned vehicles from top brands. View transparent pricing so you can find the vehicle that fits in your budget. And complete your purchase online. Shop when you want, where you want. It's the Woodhouse difference. Get started today at woodhouse.com.
Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Akrs. They are the Midwest's premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe in tonight. Jessica with a very much needed night off. So she's kind of getting in an early Christmas. She will join me for a quick segment in hour number 2, but I needed to get her out of here for a few days. She's been grinding really hard and still, hopefully, fingers crossed, headed to the Final Four next week with the Husker volleyball team. All right, on the text line, got a text from Rick in Wahoo. What do you guys think of Bill Belichick going to coach college football? Rick, it's been an interesting week, hasn't it, in college football? You got Bill Belichick at age 72, has not coached in college, going back to be a head coach with the thought that he's going to hire his son, Steve, who's been the defensive coordinator this year at Washington, as a coach in waiting at Carolina. I don't think that's a bad plan. I think that's going to get a lot of attention on North Carolina football, so I think that's good. But it's been the year of going back and bringing guys back for a second chance. Scott Frost, UCF. Rich Rod going back to West Virginia. Dan Mullen leaving the broadcast booth to take over UNLV after, he got let go at Florida a couple years ago. So it's like you didn't promote up a bunch of guys. You kind of went back and took guys that have not made it at a different spot. For Coach Frost, I think it's perfect for him. I think Scott, it's a place that he feels very comfortable with. I think in some ways he probably wishes he had not taken the Nebraska job when it was offered because he had it rolling there in Florida. And I think with his style of play, the athletes that'll be around him down there to recruit for, I think it's probably a pretty good move for Scott Frost. And Husker fans, you do what you want. I'll be pulling for him. He's one of ours. He's an alum, a coach here, won one of those big 5 trophies that we have in our trophy case. So I'm pulling for Scott to do well at UCF. Rich Rod had a pretty good run at West Virginia, left to go to Michigan. Didn't work out there. Went to Arizona. Didn't have a great run there. Has been at Jacksonville State and has done pretty well. And so now here West Virginia goes and brings Rich Rodriguez back into the fold. So just an interesting hiring season for college football. All right, great first hour. We're going to talk some football. Matt Rhule had a presser earlier today. And Greg's surprise segment. What is it? We'll tell you in hour 2.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Sam, since this is your first Get Holiday Ready sales event, let me introduce you to the full lineup of Ford SUVs. Keep it festive, Morgan.
How fun.
That's Blake and Bailey. They're our Bronco experts.
Goat modes goes over any type of terrain.
And of course, Ford F-Series. Best-selling trucks for 47 years. The Get Holiday Ready sales event.
Chills.
Get 1.9 for 60 plus 1,000 holiday cash plus no payments for up to 90 days on F-150. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Want to boost Nebraska's economy and help the planet? It's as easy as filling up your tank. Switch to soy-based biodiesel to cut greenhouse gases by up to 74% and support biodiesel growth.
I'm Greg Anderson, a farmer near Newman Grove, Nebraska, and biodiesel has transformed our farm. It cuts emissions, raises the cetane number, and improves fuel lubricity.
So ask for biodiesel where you fill up. It benefits our air, economy, and Nebraska soybean farmers. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
If you've been looking for a reason to fill up your car with unleaded 88, how about this? Unleaded 88
can help you save big at the pump.
And save the planet by cutting greenhouse gas emissions.
Any car 2001 or newer is approved to use unleaded 88. Speaking of good, it's made from corn, which is great for farmers.
As I was saying, if you need a reason to choose unleaded 88, there you have them. Unleaded 88. Engine smart, earth kind. Visit chooseunleaded88.com to learn more.
Good evening, I'm Josh Ilkman, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the Department of Health and Human Services. Nebraska football coach Matt Rhule addressed the media today, and he was asked about the offense making a jump going into the bowl game and into next season.
I believe we kind of in some ways have done some of that this month. You know, I think we'll go into the bowl. The bowl's a little different now because, you know, your rosters really turn over and change. But really, it's this recruiting class we just brought in, plus the guys coming back, plus the portal additions that we make heading into the summer, and then the growth that we make. You know, we have to take a step on defense to play championship caliber defense. We also have to take 2 steps on offense to get to where we want to get to.
The Huskers are continuing bowl preparation for their matchup against Boston College on Saturday, December 28th in the Pinstripe Bowl. We'll hear more from Coach Rhule here in Hour 2 of Sports Nightly. The regional semifinals began today in the NCAA Volleyball tournament. In the Pittsburgh Regional this afternoon, Kentucky defeated Missouri in 4 sets, and Pitt outlasted Oregon, winning in 5 sets. In the Louisville Regional, they just finished up the second set, and Florida and Stanford are tied at 1 set apiece. Coming up at 8:30, it's Purdue and Louisville. Nebraska will play their Sweet 16 match tomorrow night against Dayton at the Devaney Center. We'll have pregame starting at 7:30 right here on the Huskers Radio Network. One college basketball game of note tonight, number 3 Iowa State on the road against Iowa. And it's the Hawkeyes up 37-26. Just under 4 minutes to play in the first half of that one. And in the NFL, the Rams will face the 49ers. LA is 7-6, while San Francisco enters with a 6-7 record. Kickoff coming up in just a few minutes. Our sports ticker is brought to you by the Department of Health and Human Services. Call timeout. If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there. Call, text, or chat 988. It's free, confidential, and staffed, with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Hour 2 of Sports Nightly is up next, right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Rhule under center. Turns, hands off Dowdell, plunges into the end zone, touchdown, Nebraska! What a drive for the Big Red. An exclamation point on what has been a wonderful first half here in Iowa City. 9-0, Big Red.
Outside set, Hurricanes, Cologne, roll shot. Nice up by Harper. Now Nebraska center dump. Bergen Riley. She does it. Nebraska wins. Call the grandkids. The Huskers go to their 40th Sweet 16 in the last 43 seasons. Remarkable. And they'll shake hands in Lincoln. Bring on the Dayton Flyers. We're going to be right here at the Devaney next weekend for a trip to the Final Four.
Here's a poke away by Hoiberg. Puts it up. Got it. Huskers have a 100-burger. 101-72 on the swipe by Sam. And the take for the lay-in.
Oh, Moriarty saved it in bounds. Got it to Coley. To Widener. Angles in. Out to Rimdole for 3 on the right wing. You betcha. Huskers made something out of nothing.
Now, here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
Jessica's getting some well-deserved time off, but I'm gonna go against that. We're gonna bring her in later on in the hour because I've got a surprise segment for everybody, and I need her help. So she goes, okay, yeah, I'll jump on the show for a few minutes with you on Thursday night. So she'll be coming in here in just a little bit. What is that surprise? What in the world? Well, you'll have to wait. Hang around. There's a nice teaser for you, huh? Dennis on our text line said, Greg, I've got a question about the transfer portal stuff. Do you think there should be a limit on players? Have you heard anything about an entire football team transferring out? Is that right? Dennis, yeah. Marshall, the Marshall head coach, took the Southern Miss job over the weekend after Marshall played in their conference's championship game, and their entire team put their name in the portal. And Matt Rhule said this today, that right now in college football, the players have all the power. Now, it was way the other way for decades, right? But no, Dennis, I don't think it should be this way. I think the pendulum has swung too far one way. I was all about the one-time transfer rule. I thought that was great. I thought that was, you get to a situation where you're not playing, or the coach that you came to play for left, or whatever, you don't like the offense completely changes, or whatever the case may be, you could make a change. I think that was fine. Coaches can leave. So one time in your college career, and that's the way that started, right? The one-time transfer rule. And now it's unlimited. So you have guys playing one place as a freshman, another place as a sophomore, another place as a junior, and it's ridiculous. And now it's because, maybe I can make $10,000 more at this next place. I think it's really upset the apple cart. I kind of hope we can get back to the one-time transfer rule. Again, I was all for that, particularly if a coach left and you came. Let's face it, a lot of times you're coming to play for a coach or a staff that you feel comfortable with and doing that. But that's not the case anymore. Now it's all about how much money can you put in my pocket? And so many of these guys are going to be left dry. Now, that's not the case in Nebraska because we've got to get our numbers down because of the new 105 limit on player personnel. That's a whole different topic. Don't agree with that one at all. I think it should be at 120. And this is forcing Nebraska to tell some really good kids and players, we don't have a spot for you. Sorry, we just don't. So I don't like that at all. But this multiple transferring thing, man, it just doesn't sit right with me. Now, did it sit right with me for 40 years that they were kind of stuck? No, it didn't. And you knew you needed to kind of slide that way to give them some kind of an out. But boy, Dennis, I think it's too far. But you're right. Marshall, the entire football team, has put their name into the transfer portal. Just crazy, crazy stuff. All right, earlier today, Matt Rhule met with the local media after doing a Pinstripe Bowl Zoom a couple of days ago. Huskers did practice today. They practiced Tuesday and they practiced today. Still keeping a lot of the older, the seniors out of practice, letting all the reps go to the younger players. That's a big part of bowl preparation, is to get your younger guys ready for the next year. In so many ways, this is the first game. This game with Boston College is the first game of the 2025 season coming up for the Big Red. Now, in the interim, Coach Rhule's been busy. He's had to replace Tony White, who left to go to Florida State. And a couple of days ago, made the announcement that John Butler is now the new defensive coordinator. John got hired midsummer to be the defensive backs coach. And Coach Rhule took us all through the process of making that hire.
Yeah, it was very, very, very methodical. I talked to John about his vision. I interviewed probably 6 people. There were a lot of parameters to me that mattered. The least of which was the optics. I was like, I didn't care about making a splash or anything like that. I wanted to make the right decision. As I've said, Coach Kevin McGarry, who's been here the last couple of years, I think he told one of the candidates, that coming here is like is a defensive coordinator's dream. We practice a certain way, we play a certain way. So I wanted to get the right person. I talked to a lot of great candidates. There was a ton of interest from sitting defensive coordinators. But I thought I really like what we've done the last 2 years. I thought we maybe took a step back defensively a little bit this year in some areas. But I like what we've done. I like the overall general philosophy. And so, but to win moving forward, and this is something that, a mentor of mine, Phil Snow, said to me. He said, Matt, to win moving forward, the things we're doing, the havoc that we're creating is great on, third down, to be first and second down. To be great moving forward on third down, some of the stuff that we've done in the NFL, third down packages, second and long packages versus the teams who can really throw it. Like, we can go out, we played good against Iowa, but, Iowa's a running team. To be able to stop the offenses that we're going to need to stop, that can drop back and spin the ball, we're going to need some advanced, I think, defense on third down, 2-minute, red zone. And as I went through that, John had the top secondary in the NFL for 5 years. There was a lot of outpouring from our current players, guys I really respect. And, I'm not going to make that decision because of that, but I think they felt like, some of the current guys in the secondary felt like after 3 or 4 years in college, John had brought a professionalism and a next level mentality to them that they thought was going to prepare them for the next level. Some of them had no business, they're leaving, so they didn't have to say that to me. So I think it was just a combination of who can add to what we're already doing at a high level, who can bring some things secondary-wise to really help us, and after working with John for a year, I thought he was really, really professional, really good to work with, great evaluator, and excited for him.
So there's Matt Rhule. detailed look, and I'm not shocked because I think when Coach Butler joined this staff in whatever that was, around the 4th of July, I think he let it be known to Coach Rhule, I want to be a coordinator. And so I'll come, but boy, if it opens up in Nebraska, I certainly want to be considered for that spot, and he should. He's got a great resume, and he should have been considered, and certainly was, and now has the position. Also announced today, Josh had this in the ticker, Phil Simpson is back with Nebraska after being with the staff 2 years ago as a quality control coach on defense. Phil now back as the outside linebackers coach. Here's Coach Rhule talking about bringing Coach Simpson back.
You know, I hired Phil last year because I think Phil's a needle mover. He moves the needle, right? And Florida State recognized that and hired him back, right? And Phil has some family things that led him to go back, and it was a good deal for him financially, and it was very amicable when he left. Obviously, when Tony and Terrence left, and then some other guys, some of the analysts left, as I looked at the staff, I wanted a true outside backers coach, not just the jack, but, we started playing some 5 down throughout the course of the year. And I just can't think of a better person to go out and recruit, retain, but also when they get here to develop and have a relationship with guys. Recruiting is not, hey, I'll give you this. It's going to be relationship based once they're here. And I thought Phil, in the year that I had him, was excellent. He handled discipline for us. We're not changing our core values. Like, you're still going to go to school if you come here. We don't want you to come here if you just want to use drugs. We don't want you to come here if you don't treat people well. If you do those things, you're going to have to leave. And Phil helps me with that. So, and he's a really good coach. So I was able to get Phil back. And then, the D-line coach, the hire is not official yet. It's not gone through the process yet. But I wanted someone from a certain system. And as I was a young D-line coach, I learned through Phil Snow. I went out to the lines. I learned from Rod Marinelli, and his D-line coach at the time was a guy named Joe Cullen. And Joe Cullen's one of the best coaches in football. And Terrence played for Joe Cullen. And so the style that we believe in, because there's lots of different styles, comes through the Joe Cullen tree. So when I had an opening, I called Joe. And Joe made some recommendations to me, and so we're going to move forward with one of those guys. I want a guy who's been in pro football. I want a guy who has great relational ability. I want a guy who can hold the guys accountable. They don't need a friend. They need a coach to help them get where they want to be. And, we have some young D linemen that I think need to make a step and can. So finding the right mix of all those things. But I went to Joe and some other coaches, and I think we hit a home run.
So I think the D-line coach is done. I think it's the young man who's been with the Kansas City Chiefs for the last couple of years. Just all the processing paperwork's not been announced yet, but I think that it could come tomorrow. Could be a little Friday news dump tomorrow. All right. Well, the one thing about not going to postseason in college football is the practice time you miss. In essence, it's another spring practice. So when you don't go for 1 year, you miss a spring ball. 2 years, 3 years, 4. So now that's what's been damaging this program, is not to be able to get these extra practice sessions. What do these extra practice sessions mean? Here's the coach.
Last week was Tuesday, Thursday. We didn't practice on Saturday last week, did we? Okay, sorry. It's been quite a run, guys. Right now it's Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday with Monday, Wednesday lifting, and then next week will be a bowl week. A game week. So we'll do a full game week next week, Monday through Saturday. Then we'll get to the bowl site on Monday the 23rd, and we will do a bowl week, game week, which will, obviously there's certain things like, hey, you need to go here to do this, you need to go there to do that. So we've been really developing guys. Like the veteran players have been doing indie and some 7-on-7, maybe some 1-on-1s, but really taking a good hard look at some of our young players and getting them ready for next year.
So the team will leave on the 23rd, 2 days before Christmas. They'll spend Christmas in New York City. Beautiful area down there. You got Times Square. You got Rockefeller Center with the big tree. It'd be a cool place to be during the holidays. Expensive, but yeah, it'd be a cool place to be for the football team. So looking forward to that for the team to get there. Well, that's less than 2 weeks away now for that. All right. Both coordinators now hired. Dana Holgorsen on offense, John Butler on defense. And Nebraska knows they've got to get way better on the offensive side of the ball. I think they ended up about 90th total offense this past year. Had a hard time scoring more than 20 points. It's hard to win a lot of college football games when you're not putting more than 20 points. So Coach was asked, how big of a jump do you need to make, and do you expect to make on that side of the ball next year?
We have to make a major jump offensively. There's no doubt, right? And so I believe we kind of in some ways have done some of that this month. You know, I think we'll go into the bowl. The bowl's a little different now because, you know, your rosters really turn over and change going into the bowl. But really, it's this recruiting class we just brought in, plus the guys coming back, plus the portal additions that we make heading into the summer, and then the growth that we make. You know, the days of, I mean, this is basically, it's basically, if we're being honest, 365 days a year free agency with the power in the players' hands. And so, which is what it is, right? So I thought having an offensive guy in Dana that can adjust to that, you know, where it's not, hey, it takes you 2 years to learn our system, while still building a system that prepares guys for the NFL. That's why I feel great about what Dana can do. So no amount of turnover right now scares me, and no amount of additions scare me because I have a guy that can do that. And I think that's highly critical. What I will say though is when you watch a lot of those, you know, you're watching the Georgias of the world and all them, like it's 45-28 in September and October. You watch the games down the stretch, save the Big Ten championship game, you have to play defense too. And so, you know, we have to take a step on defense to play championship caliber defense. We also have to take 2 steps on offense to get to where we want to get to.
This is also the time of year you can experiment with like moving some personnel around a little bit. One of those, Heinrich Hoiberg, who is no longer going to be a quarterback. And Nebraska could certainly go there in a pinch, in an emergency type thing, but he's changing positions. Here's the coach talking about Heinrich.
He'll still be available as a quarterback in the bowl game, but Jalen's been working as a number 2 quarterback, and Heinrich's been pretty much full steam ahead, you know, getting ready for next year and being sort of like that FY tight end type guy. He's probably one of the best athletes I've ever had a chance to coach. I mean, he's big, he's explosive, he's athletic, he can catch the ball, he's really smart. You know, Heinrich can go out there and he can play tailback on one play and play X receiver on the next in terms of knowing what to do. I'm not saying all those are specific to his skill set. So, but, you know, like I said, with a play designer like Dana, I think guys who can run and catch and block, you know, they can do it. And so I think he's gonna have a real chance there.
Didn't include that in this cut, but he also talked about Carter Nelson probably getting back to the tight end room. Carter got here in June and just did not have the weight on the frame really to compete at that position in the Big Ten. Now with an off season, weight room, winter conditioning, all that, he can get bulked up and be a part of that tight end room. So you'd have Fedoni, you'd have Heinrich, you'd have Carter Nelson, some other guys they're excited about. And I wouldn't close the door on Nate Borkacher coming back next year, and Luke Lindemeyer. And Coach Rhule did say that Dana's a big fan of Luke Lindemeyer, that he saw some real potential, and you saw Luke get involved in more packages as that season went along. So I feel good about that room moving forward, but I do think you'll see Carter Nelson migrate out of that wide receiver room, get himself into that tight end thing. And I think Heinrich has the potential to be an NFL guy at the H-back tight end spot. And you just heard Coach Rhule, who's coached a lot of football players, say he's as good an athlete as he's coached. That really, really high praise. All right, there's the coach, kind of a synopsis of what he did today at the press conference following the practice for the Huskers. Thought it was interesting. They're going to go full week next week, get a bunch of practices in before they go to New York. Next week is finals week, so they'll have to probably dance around a couple of those things. But you know what? College has changed. Josh, come in here on this. College has changed so much. There's very few finals anymore. It's like final paper. A lot of these kids are done this week, right?
Yeah, I've talked to a lot of our interns that we have in here, and it's changed even from when I was in college 10 years ago, a little over 10 years ago now, but still it's a lot of them are saying that they don't really even have finals during final week, maybe one that they have to take, and it's usually online where they can kind of take it whenever they want, like it's just sometime during that week. But for the most part, a lot of what they have is these final projects and things, and even some finals that are taken during what is called dead week, but it's really not dead week for them. This has been a pretty crazy week, and you kind of hear that from some of the coaches too, that this is the week that is hard to work around.
So I guess I shouldn't be surprised that they were going to go 5 days, because most of the kids are going to be done.
It shouldn't be that big of a deal. Yeah, most of them, if they have anything, it'll be a test that they can take, a final that they can take at any point during the week, and it's online, so it shouldn't be a big deal.
Good stuff. What is up my sleeve? Greg's surprise segment. Man, I'm overselling this way too much. That's coming up next.
This postseason, the Nebraska Cornhuskers are ready to make a run for the championship, and Woodhouse is right there with them. Follow along as the Huskers take on the best in the NCAA volleyball tournament. Hear every thrilling moment, every powerful serve, and every block for the title. Woodhouse, proud sponsor of Nebraska Volleyball, bringing you all the action as the Huskers fight for glory. Stay tuned and cheer on the Huskers each broadcast, presented by Woodhouse.
In the heartland, where ambition thrives, there are those who are made and those who are made for more. Just like the Huskers on game day, Kloss, a leading producer of ag equipment, unleashes the power of ambition in the field. Discover why our cutting-edge machinery and unwavering support aren't just a promise, they're a commitment to your success. Because at Kloss, we know you are made for more. Visit your Kloss dealer or CLAAS.com.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Sam, since this is your first Get Holiday Ready sales event, let me introduce you to the full lineup of Ford SUVs. Keep it festive, Morgan.
How fun!
That's Blake and Bailey. They're our Bronco experts.
Goat Modes goes over any type of terrain.
And of course, Ford F-Series. Best-selling trucks for 47 years. The Get Holiday Ready sales event.
Chills.
Get 1.9 for 60 plus 1,000 holiday cash plus no payments for up to 90 days on F-150. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your foundation and damaging your home. Cracks in walls and uneven floors are just a few signs your foundation is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
Some days you hit snooze, but not today. Today you have to go on a run to get burgers for the tailgate. You've got to haul something heavy, a cooler stocked with Bud Light. When you've got beer and football, nothing is hard, until the other team scores. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus, copyright 2024 Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
No matter what color you wear on game day or what color tractor you drive, there's one color Nebraskans trust to be a partner for life lived well. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska combines national power with Nebraska roots. Awarded the best health insurance experience in the heartland, Blue Cross delivers affordable, high-quality health plans for Medicare groups and individuals. Head to nebraskablue.com to find the coverage that's right for you. Team Blue says, go Big Red.
Husker fans, it's game day, and Pizza Hut's got your perfect play. Score the game day special for just $29.99. Get 2 medium 3-topping pizzas, 8 boneless wings, and 5 breadsticks. Enough to feed 8 hungry fans. Pizza, wings, breadsticks, and more. It's the ultimate lineup to fuel your game day. Check out the full menu online at pizzahut.com or in store. Because remember, no one out-pizzas the Hut.
When you're in the stands and have the ability to control your irrigation in the field, it's a game-changing moment. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Experience real-time, play-by-play action and control that keeps you ahead. Score big with irrigation technology from Valley. It's technology that improves your life and lets you be at the game and in the game. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
From family road trips in a spacious SUV to heavy-duty hauling in a powerful truck, Woodhouse has the vehicle to fit your lifestyle. Purchasing a vehicle has never been easier thanks to our streamlined buying process. Browse a huge selection of new or pre-owned vehicles from top brands. View transparent pricing so you can find the vehicle that fits in your budget. And complete your purchase online. Shop when you want, where you want. It's the Woodhouse difference. Get started today at woodhouse.com.
Our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs solutions for every field. Well, every now and then I like to throw a little curveball at people, and that's kind of what we're doing tonight. And I needed Jessica's help on this to kind of just react to certain things. So you don't know what we're about to do, correct?
I have no idea. You asked me if I'm ready. I don't know if I'm ready, but I'll try to be. I'll try to be ready.
Well, I told you all you need is your laptop.
Yes, I got it open. I'm ready to roll.
Very good. Okay, what I want you to do, people are like, what in the world is going on? I want you to open up and pull up the Big Ten football standings.
Okay.
Okay. You know, Jess, how much I love my preseason magazines.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
That come out in the summertime, and I go through them. And what I generally do is I'll go through every team in the league, and I'll write down what I think they're going to finish. So I thought we could go, does Greg know anything? Or is he just full of beans on this stuff?
Okay.
So what I want to do is, and I'm going to give myself a little bit of grace that I don't have to nail the number on the, but maybe a game each way. So if I said somebody was going to go 8-4 and they go 7-5 or 9-3, I think that's a win.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
I think so. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to start at the top, work my way down, and see how well I did. Josh is giggling over there right now about this.
This is going to be fun.
So, okay, at the top I had Ohio State 11-1. What'd they go, 10-2?
10-2.
All right.
10-2.
So that's a win.
Yeah.
And I had them losing to Oregon, which I got that. I didn't have them losing to Michigan.
Yeah.
All right, so there's a positive.
Okay.
Oregon, I had 11-1. They went 12-0, right?
They're 13-0 overall.
Yeah, I didn't count the title game.
Okay, so 12-0, so you nailed that one.
Okay. I had Penn State 10-2.
11-2. So, but you didn't count the title game, so 10-2.
Right.
You nailed that one spot on.
I'm 3 for 3. This is unbelievable. It gets wonky now.
Okay.
I had Michigan 10-2.
7-5.
Boy, that's bad. Did anybody see 7-5? I mean,
Yeah,
I knew they would take a step back, right?
Coming off the national championship game, and even though with the coaching change and quarterback change, they still had quite a bit of talent. You know, they've recruited well, and you'd expect them to be able to reload. They did have the big win over Ohio State, but I don't think people thought they had some very questionable losses that I don't think people were counting on them losing.
Yeah, they did. So I missed, and a lot of people probably missed on Michigan. All right, I missed on this one. I had Iowa 10-2.
8-4.
So game off, but it's not good enough for the standings. So now I'm 3-2. I'm kind of back to 500. It's isn't good. All right, I had a couple of teams I had one team at 9-3, and it was Rutgers.
Well, there was a team at 9-3, but it was not Rutgers. Rutgers is 7-5, but.
So I missed.
It's still pretty impressive that you're pretty close. You're only like 2 games off on these.
And remember, they hit the skids, right? They had a bad October.
Yeah, after they played Nebraska, they went downhill for a little bit, but then they picked it back up to close out the season.
Yep. I'm trying to think, what bowl game are they going to? They are headed. Oh, they're playing K-State out in Phoenix.
Oh, that'll be a fun one.
Yeah, that should be a good game. All right, I had 2 teams, 8-4. I had my red-colored glasses on, so I had Nebraska at 8-4.
6-6.
Yeah.
So,
and I had the USC Trojans 8-4.
And they
6-6.
are 6-6 as well.
Boy. So I haven't had a win here in a while. So now I'm 3-5. Greg doesn't know what he's talking about. So, all right, I have a couple of 6-6 teams. Indiana, I had 6-6.
Ooh, you were way off on that one, but everybody, in your defense, everybody was way off on that one.
Who would have guessed?
They were
right?
picked to finish last.
Yes. And I thought I was pretty aggressive going 6-6.
Thought you were giving them some nice wins at 6-6. They end up 11-1. Wow.
I did not Google Kurt Signetti enough. So I had Illinois 6-6. I missed that too, didn't I?
9-3. Yep.
What a good year for them, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think too, especially starting out, I don't think they just don't win pretty, and so you don't really know what they're going to do, but then they just grind them out and end up, as Searles likes to say, right around that 8-9 win, just kind of like a Minnesota.
Just keep kind of chugging and do what they do. Okay, I had 3 teams finish 5-7. Wisconsin.
Ooh, 5-7. You nailed that one.
Nailed it.
And
I remember DB was at Big Ten Media Days, and we had him on, and I go, DB, I got a couple for you. And one of the ones I said, Wisconsin will not make a bowl game. He goes, oh, boy, they love them around here. I go, I'm telling you, that schedule's hard. They're not going to make it. So I'm kind of proud of that one. That's pretty good, 5-7.
And, again, just I think with, the changing over of everything, and there's just, it seems like they've lost a little bit of the team up there. The culture that you're used to seeing out of Wisconsin, that's no more. It's no longer the Wisconsin of past, as we've heard Searles say time and time again. But, not a great season. It's not good up there in Madison.
You think about it, Jess. There were 3 coaches hired in that offseason. Luke Fickell, Ryan Walters, who's already been let go, and Matt Rhule. I mean, I think we got to feel pretty good, right? That we've kind of won that little battle.
Yeah, I think so. I'd agree.
All right, my other 2 5-7s, I had Maryland at 5-7.
4-8. So 1 off, that counts. So there's your another point.
They were kind of disappointing. They won a couple big games, and then they lost games. You're like, how'd you lose that?
Yeah. There were times
beat SC.
There were times that they'd put up, their offense would look like it was flowing, and then they couldn't move it at all. I don't know. They were one of the more, when we were doing the picks throughout the season, they were one of those teams that when I would pick them, they'd lose. When I would not pick them, or when I'd pick them, they'd pick against them, they'd win. So they were one of those inconsistent teams. You just didn't know which team was going to be out on the field on Saturday.
And my other 5-7 was Northwestern. Did they win
4-8? So you got another point there.
Okay. That's about what I think. That's what they are. Don't you think right now?
Yeah. Just with the turnover, and I think it's, as we've heard Searles talk about too, just how hard it is to recruit there, and they lost a lot of guys. But I think it's pretty impressive, some of the wins. They fought. How many games were they almost there? It's not like they got blown out a bunch either. They were in there in a lot of games, keeping it pretty close.
Okay, I had 3 teams 4-8. UCLA.
5-7.
Got it. Okay. And they got way better.
They did. They improved.
I'm kind of impressed with what they did.
Yep. They played some good football towards end of October into November.
I had Washington 4-8.
Washington is 6-6.
So I missed it. Well, what a drop off, like Michigan, right? National championship game and then dropped to 6-6.
Yeah, but I mean, with the changing of a head coach and the kind of the turnover there, they lost a lot of guys in the portal. I think it's still to go 6-6 and to be in a bowl game for considering what they had to do and deal with following last year's season. I don't think that's a horrible season.
I agree.
They were good.
No,
at
I agree.
home,
They can build off that.
What?
They can build off of that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they were good at home, not good on the road.
Right. My other 4-8, I failed here. I had the Gophers 4-8.
7-5.
7-5. That's what he does.
Yeah.
Right? Every year.
Yep.
So that leaves me one team. I had Purdue 1-11.
Nailed that one. 1-11.
How about that?
You should give yourself 2 points for the ones you got exactly right.
I think that's a great idea.
So Purdue, Wisconsin, and Penn State. I think you all got spot on.
Yep. No, I had Penn State 10-2. They only lost 1 regular season.
Oh, okay.
I think I only nailed 2. Purdue and Wisconsin. And people have to just trust me that I did this. And I kept it in my book. I kept it in my Phil Steele magazine the whole year.
Oh yeah,
there it is.
It's
chicken
like
scratch.
Christmas
There it
morning
is.
when you get Phil Steele's magazine. If you're a regular listener of the show, you know how Greg feels about his Phil Steele magazine.
So I kind of felt like my out on a limb, picks were Rutgers at 9-3, and if they hadn't had the kind of midseason swoon, they might have got that. And I way overestimated Michigan. Way.
And like everybody, way underestimated Indiana.
Oh, yeah. Crazy. So there you go. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 8 out of 18, almost 50%.
It's pretty good, especially in this day and age when you don't know how teams think about the coaching changes and then the turnover with the portal. And some teams lost some pretty solid players. You just don't. I feel like it is way less predictable than it's ever been this time around with college football. And I think it's going to continue to be as those roster limits shrink down and the portal just continues to be flooded with guys. You can maybe think you know something about a team and then you just don't know. I think we're going to have more stories like what we've seen out of Indiana kind of year in and year out with college football.
Coach Rhule said that. He goes, you can't project in July that Indiana's going to be 11-1. I mean, nobody would have projected that, nor would you project that Michigan might fall that far back. So he's right, and you're right. I think it's going to be hard to do this moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go. Well, thank you. That wasn't too scary, was it?
No, I had no idea what we were doing, but that's pretty solid, though. Pretty solid effort.
Well, we didn't have a pick segment this week, so I thought we're going to have a little bit of fun with something here.
Yeah, which, by the way, you're going to have to update everybody on what we're doing with the picks. You got to figure out what we're doing.
Yeah. Well, we're going to pick all the playoff games.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And the Big Ten.
But are we going to go one at a time, one round at a time, or are we going to? Yeah.
We'll have to.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of just picking the bracket like a March Madness, we're going to go 1 week at a time.
Right.
Yeah.
Does Searles want to play anymore, or is he done?
He's he's hit his Rutgers skid in the middle of the season, I think.
Oh, boy. He was talking trash a month ago.
He was feeling himself. But, hey, there's a reason why you play the games in November, and you got to finish out strong, and he did not have a strong November.
And you and I both know these bull picks are hard.
Yes.
Hard.
Yeah. And the thing is, too, if you pick too early, then a lot of things change by the time you kick things off. So who knows? But the playoff will be fun just because you do know that teams will be trying to win those. And so a lot of their best will be put on display. So those will be fun to pick for sure this year.
Good. Well, thank you. Thank you for indulging me and let me kind of go through that. But I found my Phil Steele the other day and I go, oh, yeah, I forgot I had this in here. So I go, well, no pick segment. Let's have some fun with something. So.
Yeah, that was fun. Nicely done.
Good stuff. Hey, folks, Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. We're back with more Sports Nightly coming up next.
From family road trips in a spacious SUV to heavy-duty hauling in a powerful truck, Woodhouse has the vehicle to fit your lifestyle. Purchasing a vehicle has never been easier thanks to our streamlined buying process. Browse a huge selection of new or pre-owned vehicles from top brands. View transparent pricing so you can find the vehicle that fits in your budget. And complete your purchase online. Shop when you want, where you want. It's the Woodhouse difference. Get started today at woodhouse.com.
No matter what color you wear on game day or what color tractor you drive, there's one color Nebraskans trust to be a partner for life lived well. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska combines national power with Nebraska roots. Awarded the best health insurance experience in the heartland, Blue Cross delivers affordable, high-quality health plans for Medicare groups and individuals. Head to nebraskablue.com to find the coverage that's right for you. Team Blue says, go Big Red.
For farmers, sustainability is a way of life. 97% of farms are family-owned, and 95% are participating in conservation programs and using sustainable practices.
I'm Ann Meese, a farmer near Elgin, Nebraska. I grew up on this land, and we're dedicated to being good stewards and leaving it better for the next generation.
Since 1980, U.S. soybean farmers have boosted production by 130%, all while lowering emissions and improving land and water use. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
You're going to feel a puff of air.
Jong's Optometry has set their sights on staffing up.
Try the next line. Hey, Kim, can you tell our 2 o'clock we're running 15 behind? Sorry, we're a bit backed up today.
He needs an optometric technician to keep an eye on it all.
Where are the dilation drops?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed, you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Welcome to the Make It Jingle with Kris Kringle podcast. Today we're talking to Jan from Toyota, all about Toyotathon.
Hi!
So, tell me about Toyotathon.
Well, from now until January 6th is the perfect time to get a new Camry, RAV4, Highlander, and more.
Oh, how exciting! So what can you do in a new Toyota this holiday season?
With a new RAV4, you can go snowboarding with your friends.
I love dashing through the snow.
Take a Camry to a tree lighting ceremony.
Sounds merry and bright.
Or even load up the family in a Highlander to go ice skating.
What a jolly good time. So, Jan, got any red Tacomas? After my big job, I'm taking the missus down to Florida to go surfing.
Florida? I'm there.
Dealer inventory may vary. Offers are subject to change throughout Toyotathon, which ends on January 6th. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Toyota. Let's go places.
See your independently owned Omaha Metro Toyota dealers, Corin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, or Baxter Toyota of La Vista.
Hello, Husker Nation. This is Lex Rodriguez, All-American Libero, serving you an ace on behalf of Noddle Companies based in Omaha, Nebraska. Noddle Companies is a full-service leader in commercial real estate, digging deep to create thriving communities like the Builders District, Exarban Village, and the contemporary row house townhomes. They bring world-class concepts in fashion, great eats, gorgeous homes, and green spaces, all professionally managed by Noddle Services. To dig up more information, find them on Facebook and Instagram. Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska.
On game day, every play counts. Now imagine having the same level of control in your field. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Real-time play-by-play control means you're always ahead of the game. Score big with simplified irrigation technology from Valley, improving your life both on and off the field. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Nebraska soybeans power everyday products, from Goodyear tires and Skechers shoes to soy-based turf and fire suppressants. These innovations replace petroleum and utilize other components of the soybean, leading to more sustainable products worldwide.
I'm Doug Sadoff, a farmer near Trumbull, Nebraska. Thanks to cutting-edge research, soybeans are now in everything from tires to turf. It's amazing to see how these advancements are unlocking new potential for our crops.
Soybeans are a win for every product and everyone. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
Last season was a banner year for the Huskers, winning 5 Big Ten titles. Nebraska also finished in the top 25 in the Directors' Cup standings. Beardmore Subaru congratulates Husker Athletics and Nebraska student athletes for all their achievements and stands behind you again this season. Go Big Red! Beardmore Subaru in Bellevue has the all-new 2025 Subaru Forester, the same trusted SUV it's always been, only more so. Love begins with trust.
Here's what's on tap, brought to you by Michelob Ultra. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Double dip tomorrow night on the network. Husker men's basketball against Indiana. 6 o'clock pregame, 7 o'clock tip at PBA. Kent Pavelka, Jake Neuheisel will have a call for that. And then Husker volleyball in the Sweet 16, taking on the Dayton Flyers around 8:30-ish. Our pregame coverage will begin at 7:30 tomorrow night. It will be 30 minutes following the Wisconsin matchup with Texas A&M. Great volleyball today. Just terrific matchups going on today around the country. Women's basketball back on the hardwood Sunday at PBA. Chattanooga, Tennessee, Chattanooga, the opponent. They'll tip that game off at noon, 11:30 for pregame coverage. And football has one more game left in the 2024 season. It's the Pinstripe Bowl on the 28th against Boston College. 11 o'clock kick, 7 o'clock for Husker game day. Again, that's what's on tap, brought to you by Michelob Ultra. Josh, I know you get excited when those preseason magazines come out.
Mm-hmm.
I would bet pretty much everybody does something similar, right? You go through the schedules and you kind of pick wins and losses for everybody.
Yeah, no, it's fun to do that. I think the most fun thing is to look back at it after, like what you guys just did in that last segment, because you can think you know everything going into the season, what each team's going to look like. You can look at the schedule and think, okay, well, this is a win, this is a win, this is a loss. Well, and you're never going to get it right. Like unless you think that a team is going to go undefeated and they end up being an amazing team and going undefeated, you're probably not going to get their record exactly right, especially teams that are kind of in the middle, because like you said, like people who were predicted Nebraska before the season, they probably thought there were some games that would have been wins that weren't, and some losses that turned into wins, like the Wisconsin game. So you just never know how seasons are going to change throughout. So yeah, it's definitely a fun thing to go through.
I would like to know how many people thought Indiana was even a possibility to get to a bowl game.
That's
what they did.
Exactly what you guys said in the segment, where it was people who were bullish on them, like you were giving them a bowl game. And most people are like, this isn't going to work. They're going to be the same old Indiana, and they'll go 3-9 or maybe get to 4 wins. But you were a little bit bullish and thought, okay, maybe they can get to a bowl game, and they end up with 1 loss. It's just crazy what they've done up there.
The national people picked at their schedule. Mm-hmm. But if you go back to the summer and you go, well, they're playing Michigan, they're playing Washington, the 2 teams that played for the whole thing last January, you would think, well, and then Ohio State, that's a good enough schedule.
It doesn't matter,
Michigan crashed and burned, and so did Washington, so those games weren't nearly as tough.
It's a Big Ten schedule. Yes, and that's the thing, too, is like, I feel like people can complain about, oh, you're giving us a tough schedule, or this is an easy schedule that you gave this team, whatever, but like I said before, it just changes. It changes from what you think. Like, every team can be a little bit different than what you think. Teams change themselves throughout the season. No team is going to be the same in week 1 as they are in week 12, and a lot of times they have ups and downs in the middle. So yeah, I don't think that you can really attack a team that's playing a Big Ten schedule. They're playing a lot of good teams, and Indiana, they only had 1 loss. So,
and the one thing you can't ever foresee are injuries.
Sure.
Who's starting quarterback goes down, because once that happens, kind of all bets are off. And Wisconsin, and I kind of beat my chest because I told Damon back in July, they're not going to make a bowl game. Well, Van Dyke then gets hurt week 3, and you're like, oh, no, they definitely won't. And they didn't.
Right.
But they could have if maybe he stays healthy, although I think the backup kid was okay. Mm-hmm. I don't think there was a big difference between those two, but it's a big year for Luke Fickell coming up in year 3. He's got to do something, and I don't know. I saw their schedule release yesterday. It's hard.
Yeah, no, they have a really tough schedule, and kind of based on what you said, like I do think injuries play a big part of it, and something that I feel like a lot of us get drug into is the analytics side of it, and like you can think, okay, like this person is going to put up these numbers, and they're going to be this, and this team is going to do this and this and this, and it's like all of these players, even though they're getting paid now, they're still kids, they're still human beings. And I think something that I feel like is overlooked a lot in college sports especially is like they're still on campus, they still have like different relationships and hard things that they're going through. They have their ups and downs throughout a season. There's team chemistry that changes throughout a season. I believe in, momentum is a real thing. You kind of grow together as a team as things go along. So all of that is just a changing, moving amoeba that goes through the season. So it's not as simple as I think we want to make it out to be in the off season.
Which of the first round matchups intrigues you the most?
Man, that's a good question.
For me, I would probably lean Tennessee, Ohio State.
Yeah,
I think that's gonna be a heck of a football game.
That one is right up there. I like Texas and Clemson because I think that Clemson is being overlooked by a lot of teams, and I think Texas is ripe for an upset. And so that's more of why I'm looking at that one, is because I think that based on what the spread is, based on what I think different people I've seen that are talking about the game, I think they're thinking that it's going to be an easy win for Texas. So that one, and then I mean all the games are great, but I'm excited to see what the atmosphere is at Notre Dame for the Indiana-Notre Dame game, because it's just going to be an insane atmosphere there, I think.
Yeah, going to be fun. We're only a week out from that getting cranked up. All right, 402-413-2400. If you want to fire off a text, we need to work in one last break, and we'll wrap up our show, which is our last show of the week.
From family road trips in a spacious SUV to heavy-duty hauling in a powerful truck, Woodhouse has the vehicle to fit your lifestyle. Purchasing a vehicle has never been easier thanks to our streamlined buying process. Browse a huge selection of new or pre-owned vehicles from top brands. View transparent pricing so you can find the vehicle that fits in your budget. And complete your purchase online. Shop when you want, where you want. It's the Woodhouse difference. Get started today at woodhouse.com.
Did you get us switched over to shelter insurance?
Actually, I found a deal online.
You did? Does your deal come with award-winning customer service?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Does the deal include a local agent?
Doesn't actually say.
Can we create a customized plan that fits our needs? Let's just call the local shelter agent.
For insurance that fits just right, find a shelter agent near you.
See shelter agent Derek Hostert in Lincoln for a free personal protection review.
Lowe's knows that to win the job, pros need the best prices. That's why only at Lowe's, MVP's Pro Rewards members can get a volume discount on eligible orders as low as $1,500 at the Pro Desk. That means you get the prices you need to start any job, small or large. Because Lowe's knows pros. Valid in-store only. More terms and restrictions apply. Visit Lowe's.com/terms or Pro Desk for details.
Sam, since this is your first Get Holiday Ready sales event, let me introduce you to the full lineup of Ford SUVs. Keep it festive, Morgan.
How fun!
That's Blake and Bailey. They're our Bronco experts.
Goat Modes goes over any type of terrain.
And of course, Ford F-Series. Best-selling trucks for 47 years. The Get Holiday Ready sales event.
Chills.
Get 1.9 for 60 plus 1,000 holiday cash plus no payments for up to 90 days on F-150. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Husker fans, it's game day, and Pizza Hut's got your perfect play. Score the game day special for just $29.99. Get 2 medium 3-topping pizzas, 8 boneless wings, and 5 breadsticks. Enough to feed 8 hungry fans. Pizza, wings, breadsticks, and more. It's the ultimate lineup to fuel your game day. Check out the full menu online at pizzahut.com or in store. Because remember, no one out-pizzas the Hut.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your basement and damaging your home. Mold, cracks, and of course visible water are just a few signs your basement is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Husker Athletics. Stanford wins the third set. They're up 2-1 on Florida in volleyball. That's in the Louisville regional. Louisville will play later tonight. And on the hardwood, boy, they got a good one going on in Iowa City. Hawkeyes lead the Cyclones 64-56, 10:40 to go in that game. No show tomorrow. Husker men's basketball on part of the network against Indiana. Husker volleyball on the other part of the network taking on Dayton. We'll be back Monday. Fred Hoiberg in studio for hour 1 with the men's basketball show. And next Wednesday, it'll be our AD show for the month of December with Troy Dannon. Lots to talk about with Mr. Dannon coming up about the bowl game, about the shakeup on the football staff, his thoughts about the Big Ten schedule, which came out yesterday. So a lot to talk about with Troy Dannon. Again, that will be in Wednesday night's program. Thanks to Josh for steering the ship, and to all of you, have yourself a great night.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Welcome to the Make It Jingle with Kris Kringle podcast. Today we're talking to Jan from Toyota, all about Toyotathon.
Hi!
So, tell me about Toyotathon.
Well, from now until January 6th is the perfect time to get a new Camry, RAV4, Highlander, and more.
Oh, how exciting! So what can you do in a new Toyota this holiday season?
With a new RAV4, you can go snowboarding with your friends.
I love dashing through the snow.
Take a Camry to a tree lighting ceremony.
Sounds merry and bright.
Or even load up the family in a Highlander to go ice skating.
What a jolly good time. So, Jan, got any red Tacomas? After my big job, I'm taking the missus down to Florida to go surfing.
Florida? I'm there.
Dealer inventory may vary. Offers are subject to change throughout Toyotathon, which ends on January 6th. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Toyota, let's go places.
See your independently owned Omaha Metro Toyota dealers, Corin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, or Baxter Toyota of La Vista.
When you're in the stands and have the ability to control your irrigation in the field, it's a game-changing moment. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Experience real-time, play-by-play action and control that keeps you ahead. Score big with irrigation technology from Valley. It's technology that improves your life and lets you be at the game and in the game. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Sam, since this is your first Get Holiday Ready sales event, let me introduce you to the full lineup of Ford SUVs. Keep it festive, Morgan.
How fun!
That's Blake and Bailey. They're our Bronco experts.
Goat modes goes over any type of terrain.
And of course, Ford F-Series, best-selling trucks for 47 years. The Get Holiday Ready sales event.
Chills.
Get 1.9 for 60 plus 1,000 holiday cash plus no payments for up to 90 days on F-150. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers.